So I got no sound and no fucking guest either. Does the sound work when I do that? Wait, you can hear me, but you can't hear the music. That's proper gay. Fucking Streamyard, mate. Hello, everybody. I suppose I'll stop all this nonsense. So that one. We're supposed to have George and Aaron come on. I don't know what they're up to. I've sent the link. One second, I'll be with you. Good evening, everybody. Basically, I've called this meeting this evening. Well, I haven't called this meeting, but I've got us all here together to have a look at something. I want to know if I'm being, what's it called? Right. What's the word? Basically, well, let me just show you the video. This is what got me thinking. I don't know if I'm being hypersensitive or silly or what. I'm just going to show you the video. There's no audio in the video. It's the only problem. This is why I wanted George on so he could explain it, because he's actually the man. Oh, that's why the fucking audio weren't working, I think, actually. So you've got a mic. That's... All right. So what video is this? Is this one, I think. Right. You see George's face. Right. So the point that I was just... It's nothing really. It weren't really here. I didn't really notice it here too much, to be honest, right? But there's Diana, because getting followed by George. Big up to Georgie, by the way. Right, so that's all that's in that video. Right, but there's another one. I think it's this one. Right. This other one. You see, now, the thing that got me thinking was she's only with this one lady here. Right. And that's talking to another one here. Butch Dykey thing, right? Georgie's getting people telling him why you approached her. He's saying, oh, this is about vaccine damages, this, that, and the other. But my point is, right, now, how can I pause this? Can I pause this? All right. The point is, can I get a picture of the thing up? Can I get... Right, the point is that I'm trying to get to is, if you look at the cabinet, yeah, it's overly represented, disproportionate overrepresentation of BAME characters, right? But in general day-to-day life, the BAMEs don't want to hang around with the whiteys, do they? All right, we've got Aaron here. Hello, Aaron. How you doing? I can't hear you. Why can't I hear you?
Hello. Can you hear me?
I can hear you very well. Thank you for joining us tonight, this evening. It's very kind of you. Right. What do you...
Thank you for inviting me.
You're very welcome, Aaron. Thank you for coming. What do you think I'm being, like, rambunctious or is what's do you think I'm being hypersensitive? Do you think like what's going? Or am I reading too deep into things? Do you think this lady has a disdain for white people? Is there any reason why she's only hanging around with black people?
Jim, can you hear me?
Can hear you, George. Yes, thank you, brother.
But I can hear background noise. I can hear you talking in the background for some reason.
Yeah, but you probably got the stream open still, Georgie, mate.
All right, sweet. Fuck it. 1 minute, man.
So if you close it on YouTube,
Will do. Yes. Well, that's
right.
2 minutes.
Well, I think that there may be a thing that I like a chance that I'm conflating two issues here, right? But it was this. I think this was in the back of my mind already about the overrepresentation in the cabinet, and then just to see this here as well. I don't know. I just found it, but I suppose it's that Black Lives Matters thing. I don't know. I just find it strange. Am I the only one that finds it strange?
In all honesty, I can't
agenda, Jim.
comment because I've not seen the broadcast.
Should we watch? Right, now the video. There's not really much to see. Look, I'll start it again. Right, so we're just watching Georgie trying to talk to her. Right, there's no audio though. That's the thing.
Right.
That she don't want to talk to Georgie. He's being quite like respectful. I'd say he's not in her face shouting or nothing like that.
That girl tried to tell me about harassing her and all that. That one there.
All right, that's why I wanted you on so you could say all that sort of stuff. Look, this is the thing, right? So obviously, it's a different set of circumstances. It's just a Black Lives Matters protest, yeah. So obviously, there's going to be a lot of black people there, but I don't. It's very obviously it's the subject that George wanted to speak about. She didn't want to talk about that. I get that as well, but it was just I don't know, man. It's just a weird sort of thing around her. Like, I don't know. I think she hates white people, mate. Is what I think.
Well, I think we have to consider that all politicians are actually, when it comes to face with the public, they have that fear in them. So they prefer to be surrounded by sort of minder types who are going to have it in their best interest. So there's a general fear from politicians on the people they represent. But looking at the footage here, I would say that George is deliberately being crowded out. You know, they're getting in front of him and Diane Abbott and sort of putting their back towards him so that they're crowding him out, which is a sort of tactic. And of course, everyone's watching, and it looks like because George was trying to attract her attention, straight away they said, right, okay, let's keep him away. That's what I gather.
But if I can just interject while your signal's gonna bit shit there, Aaron. But there's that. So you said she was surrounded by people that had it in her interest to sort of protect her, so to speak, right? Now, what does that say about the cabinet then? Who are they there to protect, so to speak? Do you see what I'm saying? Like, because if you look at apparently it's the highest. It's the highest percentage. Apparently, it's the highest percentage of privately educated, like, cabinets. There's the highest percentage of privately educated since John Major or Margaret Thatcher, one or the other. I can't remember. But the point is, like, if you add that into the mix, like, there's 1% of the UK, the population, or I think it's a very minute percentage of the UK that actually goes to one of them fucking universities to start with. So once you put that into the mixture of all the babies as well, like, who's the representation for? Do you see what I'm saying? Who are they there to protect? Because that's what it's like. That's what you're right. They're there to protect her, aren't they? So who are they protecting in the cabinet? Do you see what I'm saying? I find it weird. Like, if you look at the proportionality of the demographic and like the way that the BAMEs are represented in government, it is I brought it up a couple of weeks ago, yeah, and it's now since she's come into power, and we got all these other goons lined up to take these jobs. It's just blowing my mind. I can't fathom like the minorities are just overrepresented in such a way that it's blatantly obvious. The whole time we're all getting told about white guilt and being fucking imperialist colonizers and that. It's and it's like what George said. It's all part of the agenda. We do know that, but it's isn't it mad though, boys? Eh?
That's one word for it, mate.
Zog cabinet, mate. I don't know what this zog means, but I see it a lot. Yeah.
Aaron, how do you know what Zog means?
Wasn't it a sort of sci-fi program about set in Australia, and the leader was Zog, or is it to do with the Superman, 1970s Superman, when there was Zog who was from outer space and came down?
No, I think it's an abbreviation now. I'm sure it's abbreviation.
It sounds like you know what it is, Georgie, mate.
I might have an idea. I can't remember the next two. Come on, we've got the chat there.
Can you close that stream down behind you, mate? Why have you still got it open?
I ain't.
You ain't?
No.
All right, fair enough. I just thought I heard myself shouting in the background. All right, what's it abbreviated for then, George?
I think the first one's Zionist.
Occupied government. Is that it?
Well done. Yeah, well done.
That's Enoch Power. Enoch Power's one that stood us in good stead there, mate. Yeah, well. But that's the thing, though. Like, it's all like that, isn't it? They're all Zionists. They all want the they all believe in Zionism, don't they?
Obviously, it's more they're just liars, Jim. Like I told her when I was going up to her. I said, where were you? I knew the answer anyway. That's why I've got the transcript of the debate. So they can't say, just like we was at the thing, at the protest pen, and that young girl goes, oh, where did you get that picture? Like I've just flipping created it or something. I got it from the government website from when filming the debate in the parliament. Love. I ain't got time to make stuff up. Now, if they try that, then you hit them with a Hansard. You go Hansard, mate. I've got the whole half-hour debate there, all the highlighted bits that I need. You know what I mean? I'm not a flipping idiot. But they're just liars. Like someone said in the chat, they just lie. And they can't handle the truth, so they have to walk off. Yeah, well, I was asking, I was going, where were you? I pulled out the bit of paper, the picture of the debate. Then I've got the actual minutes of the debate, all half hour of it, all 5 MPs that were there. And she wouldn't answer anything. Nothing. She just kept walking off because she knew she was like a rabbit in the headlights, mate. Like they all would be. Like every MP that didn't turn up that day, all 600 and however many it was.
Well, always next time, isn't there? Hopefully we'll have a microphone on next time and it'll be all right.
Oh, there'll definitely be a microphone next time. I'll tell you that. There'll definitely be there.
But like, is it right? So it's so that's what we come to the conclusion. It's just Zog. It's just a Zionist-owned government.
I reckon it's deeper than that, Jim. You've got the New World Order and all that blah blah.
Yeah, but in that New World Order, just a front for fucking Satanism and like the Zog's implementation of fucking like the apocalypse, basically. I'll come back. What's she on about? What's happened to George? I think he had a phone call.
His phone went off. He said he'll come back.
Oh, right, that's what he was having. He's on about coming back off the phone call. All right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, yeah.
What I think that you've touched on there, Jim, is that hello?
Yeah, go on, Aaron, please. Sorry.
Sure. And what I think you've touched on is that no matter what world government or parliament or Senate, House, the people in that role, they're frightened of the public because they know deep down they do not represent the interests of the people they claim to represent. It's big tech and it's their own vested interests, and it's handshakes and private nods to one another, and it's all in-house. And if you're not in the gang, you're out. So there's a very real fear I think all representatives have, which is that they're not beholden to the people they claim to represent, and they know it, and they know that we know it. So it's all a fraud. It's all a mass conspiracy to pretend to do things for the benefit of the people. But the opposite is their real contrivance. They've got allegiances, not to whom they claim to represent, but to other shadowy bodies. So they're all in on a world conspiracy to take money from the people and to feather their own nests. That's the end game for them. And they're in such a habit, they can't break away from that.
If that's the end game, then what are the bunkers about?
Because obviously they feel in their mind they're going to go so far, particularly if they're going to start deliberately manufacturing food shortages. They're going to go so far that people are going to, when you've got families with kids hungry, starving, and this and that, there's going to be a time when people are going to find out, well, who are these people? Where are they? Let's get them. And how dare they stockpile food and keep it for themselves? That's probably, what they're anticipating, because they have these think tanks that sort of project these scenarios. So obviously someone predicted a scenario in which the people are going to be rattling and pulling down the gates of the people of power, at the gates of the castle or the palace or whatever, a bit like the old Frankenstein black and white films, when the people with the torches and the pitchforks and the pitchforks, they end up pulling the walls down and destroying the power structure there, or should I say,
you can see that happening. Castle. You don't think society, you don't think the masses are subdued to such an extent that don't happen no more? Or do you think they're going to wake up out of their slumber when all the kids start starving? That's what you're saying.
Well, I think because these think tanks, these tax-sponsored think tanks that consist of people like them who try and project future scenarios of food shortages, how would that affect the population of London or Bristol or whatever? They go through these. It's like did you ever play a game called Risk? It's a sort of war battle game where you shake a dice and you invade this land or that land. Well, they have these sort of they play these scenarios, and I'm sure they probably do it these days on a computer algorithm. They play these scenarios of what would happen if this happened. How many days would it be until the people start to protest and come and try and pull the gates of power? And they've said something like, like they've seen it with armies. Every army, they work on, if the soldiers start to get hungry and there's no provisions for that army, they will turn upon the captains and they will just take what they want. So when you look at people in desperation, what they will do when babies are hungry and starving and this sort of thing, people will do extraordinary things to ensure the survival of their kith and kin. And I'm sure there are think tanks, because why would we have stockpiles of butter and margarine and beef mountains? You remember that it's been mentioned since the 1980s, and particularly during Margaret Thatcher's era. They were always talking about stockpiles and butter mountains and beef mountains, and they have them. And the question is why? And they say, it's to make sure the prices will stay high so we don't overflood the market. But still, you've got to question why the stockpiling, why they're putting all the British apples, sending them back into the into the English Channel. Why destroy produce? Why get farmers to make sure there's a general shortage of things to ensure that the economic market is high?
It's not just
so
that, though.
apples and pears are cheap?
They're sorry, Aaron, but they're putting raw sewage into the sea down in Southend and that, mate. It's like it's more than that. They're actively trying to poison people. They're spraying all that shite in the sky as well. It's like, how, this is what I'm saying. At what stage do people wake up out of their slumber and then they think, fuck this? And is it all gonna is it gonna be coordinated enough? Is there gonna be enough people at the same time to actually do something about it? Like, this is the thing. Like, you see what I'm saying? Because they're at it.
Yeah,
mate.
well, we've been dumbed down. We've got an educational system that doesn't allow for people to even do a course on economics and commerce to really know how money is operated and how it's generated and how to get investment back or how to start a business from scratch. I mean, they don't even teach us in the education system. So they don't even do critical thinking courses so that people can think their way out of certain scenarios and what would happen if this happened. So there's been a dumbing down. I mean, they even have game shows that the questions are so innate and you hear some of the answers. People, these quiz shows, even the quiz shows are dumbed down. Whereas there was a time there was like, I mean, if you look in the history of British television, there was a time when every program was like a documentary, and it was the conversations were on a real high level of discourse and talking things through. Just look at some old interviews, whether it's a famous person or not, a black and white interview of someone like even Diana Dawes or someone. The level of conversation was a much higher threshold, whereas today you've got people like Graham Norton doing silly things with a chair and making people fall over and getting someone to do a funny voice. Whereas before there was interviews and questions and there was lots of documentaries and they were of a higher echelon of intellectual discourse.
But that's all part of the thing as well, wasn't it? That's part of the agenda as well. Cause, like, train them to be stupid enough to use machinery, and that's it, mate. That's all they want. They want to be a part of the thing, and then they don't want to teach people how to think. They just want to teach them how to be fucking thick, mate. They don't want to teach people nothing, do they? Really? It's like you're saying, they don't teach nothing about economics, nothing about money or nothing. They just want people to be ignorant and learn about fucking Kim Kardashian or whatever the fuck it is, the flavor of the week. Do you know what I
mean? Absolutely.
It's all another thing, though. It's all part of the Zog fucking agenda, mate.
Well, that's what we was protesting. Look why we was protesting outside the libraries and at the pub. They've been in the schools now. The school term's starting. All these little lefty teachers are going to have them in the schools. That's coming. They'll be in the schools now.
They're already in the schools, isn't they? They're already in the schools. This is the thing, mate. They're all undercover. This is the thing. And then as soon they get the boost, they get the little batteries put in them from all these fucking weird trannies they're watching on fucking TikTok and that, mate. Going, oh, look at what I'm doing. Look at how I'm abusing 30 children in the classroom and that. And then they're like, yes, let me get down with some of this child abuse. You know?
Of course, they'll see it as a way to get close to children. Legally. With no opposition and normalised. Yes, 100%. And like the geezer who looked at the thing the other day at the video and looked at 15 seconds of it. And then said it's homophobic, hate speech, blah, blah, blah. Mate, you've watched 10 seconds of it.
Yeah, can you talk about that now, can you? Are we supposed to be talking about stuff like that?
All right. No, I'm just saying, but but that's how it is, as we know, going to the protest, you have any opposition, you're a Nazi, you're a hate speech spreader, you're blah, blah, blah. That old chestnut.
Yeah. Thought he was going to say something then, Aaron.
Well, yes, it's very
sorry.
It's very disappointing that that people can't see that you're trying to do a moral thing, which is to protect the innocence of children. Because the point I was trying to make to someone was that there are no, if you're approaching middle class people, they always want to know, they always claim to want to see the white paper. And when you say to them something like, there are no long-term studies about the introduction of transvestism or drag queenism to young children, there's not that. But what we do have historical evidence of people later on who were brought up in brothels, or their mother was a madam or a prostitute. And there's several people. There's like the life of Richard Pryor. There's Eartha Kitt. There's quite a few other people who were brought up in very precarious surroundings. Not only that, there's also a lot of child actors who were in vaudeville or were who were acting on the stage very young, and they were privy to a lot of flesh exposure from other dancers or just in that kind of adult environment as children. And so we do have some historical evidence to say that it can warp them later in life, being sexualized or being able to see such sexualization as young children. So I mean, you name it. Mickey Rooney, if ever you've read his biography, he will tell you what he was seeing at a young age. Even Charlie Chaplin, and Charlie Chaplin, as we know, he later had a predilection to very young actresses. So we don't know whether that's added to the adult sexual behavior in later life. So when you're trying to say, look, please do not allow your young children to be privy to this sort of long lashes and sexualization of a man dressed as a woman, behaving in a feminine manner and talking about fabulous and being materialistic. When
Sorry
you say,
to interrupt, Al,
do we
not just a
have to-
feminine manner, sexual manner. Jim's got the other thing that didn't have a clip of that little. Well, anyway, let me keep it polite. But you know, the guy drag queening, and he's got the little kid there with a shock face on with his mum next to him. That's sexual exposure. That's a crime.
No, you're right.
And more alarmingly, that the guy doing it doesn't have any
Yes,
qualms
I know.
about doing it. He's getting aroused from it, emotional gratification from it. Like I said the other day, not all gynophiles feel it necessary to perform in front of kids, and they think it's disgusting performing in front of kids, even though they're all gynophile. That's why I have gays against groomers. So, like I said, they're not. That shows they're displaying symptoms of paedophilia. Not just autogynephilia where they want to dress up as a woman and perform in front of people, but you want to do it in front of children, mate. That's paedophilia. Simple. Whatever way you chop it up. So why wouldn't all autogynephiles or all grown men or women feel it necessary to dance erotically and expose themselves in front of children? Development inappropriate flipping sexual acts or
Appears
genders
to be
and all
a
this stuff.
deviant and some sort of political activist. Oh, I'm fucking clicking the wrong buttons, boys. Sorry about that. And I was getting all mental.
Put that up if you can, Jim. That one that didn't go up on the thing.
This is what I was doing because this is what I was doing because you was fucking going on about it. So this is why I got it up. This one here.
Look, this is it. Look, this is a crime in my book, in my world. Look,
100%. Look at that fucking child. Yeah, I'll pause that. Yeah, let's go back a little bit. It just exposes.
Oh, the child in the corner. Oh my goodness, the little girl in the corner.
Oh, bro, she's stiff, mate. She stood there. She stood there stiff.
I hadn't seen that.
Right. This little one in front. I don't know, like in front.
Look, now he exposed himself.
Been absolutely gross and disgusting.
Oh,
the mother. Look at the size of the smile on the mother's face. It's absolutely disgusting, mate. A complete and look at her fucking face, yeah, and then look at the kid's face next to it, mate.
That's a 3-year-old. That's no more than 3-4-year-old tops.
It's fucking insane, boys. This is where we're at. This is going on.
Why isn't that scene Why isn't that seen as indecent exposure in the presence of a child?
Well, it is.
And why
It is.
Exactly.
We're
It
all sat
technically
here
is,
now.
Aaron.
We're all sat here now saying it blatantly fucking is. That's the problem. It is, Aaron. Like, no,
Yes.
it is. It is. The
It
problem is the police aren't enforcing it. That's the problem. The police are complicit. That's the problem. The police are not enforcing like people getting sexual gratification in front of fucking children, bro. The problem is the police and the government, all of this dog shit, mate.
Danny handed in that dossier of that drag queen in Brighton that day. Nothing's happened with that. The police were just looking into the. No, there's nothing to see here.
This is where we're at, but this is what I'm saying. How long?
Yeah, I think that was quite.
How long does this carry on before people go, fuck this? I'm not having it no more. You look, the kid's been stood there in the same position, poised, mate. Yeah, like I don't know. It's just fucking. She just looks bewildered or something. I don't know. She don't look right. She looks like she's seen a ghost, mate. Yeah, and the mum's sitting there
in shock.
Yeah, in shock. She's in a state of fucking shock. She ain't moved. Yeah, for like 30 seconds. She's stiff. Yeah, and the mum's just there having a crack. Like, I don't know how much of this can go on. How much of the police not doing anything is going to happen before people go, fuck this? Because like we're saying, this ain't right. There's 200 people in here now. They know it ain't right. We all know it ain't right, but the police are allowing this to happen. This event is going on in Southeast London. This event is publicized on the internet. It's publicized on like Eventbrite sort of things. You see what I'm saying? These things are not hidden. Like, they're not behind closed doors and that. They're not like you can't get into them. We fucking went in. We snuck into one. Like, do you know what I mean? It's there for people's children to go to. Like, and it's mental, mate. It's absolutely mental. When are the men gonna stand up and say, fuck this, mate? Like, this is crazy. Like, how much other shit's going on in the world for the men of England to be sat there doing other stuff while this is going on? What other stuff are they doing while this is going on, bruv?
Jim, I'll tell you what they're doing. This is a good anecdote. When we went to Brighton, I've got a friend who's from South who lives in Brighton. Cut a long story short, I sent him. I said, "Oh, we'll be coming down there, Jay. Blah blah. Come and see." No reply. I said, "We're doing the drag queen story hour. That's what I've been active." Blah blah. No reply. Blah blah on the WhatsApp. Then a few days later, I get a reply from him on WhatsApp, and he started up a petition, right? He supports Chelsea, right? Oh, apparently I don't watch football. Apparently the referee, some referee has been very biased towards Chelsea, and he's starting a petition up about it to stop this referee being
That's where we're at. That's where we're at. We're right.
Exactly. And he's got two sons in Brighton. Fucking, I told him what was happening.
I don't know why.
And he sends me a petition about a football fucking referee.
The football boys, like, I don't know why you're looking to them, because I'm on about men and that, yeah. And I'm not. I don't know what that misconception.
There's nothing. I remember when we was all out protesting 2 years ago, exactly. And they all come out and started.
So if they weren't coming out for that, this is what I'm saying. They weren't like. I don't think we're supposed to be looking to boys running around thinking they're men to act like men. I'm on about real men. I'm not on about boys that are doing Charlie in the pub and that watching the football, bruv. I'm on about the real men going, the kids are being fucking groomed and that, bruv. Like, this ain't on. Like, surely there's gonna come a stage where your man, because after the boys are done doing the Charlie and that, they get on with the crack, they get on with their trade, and then they start their business, and then they got the family. And do you see what I mean? Down the line, they're normal people and that, yeah. And that's what I want about the normal buds, not the people that are getting out there nut, the people that are seeing the kids being fucking groomed and shit. But I'm going, nah, fuck this, because I'm saying surely there's only a certain amount that people can take while the whole time they're going to work and that. And then they've got the kid at school and they're thinking they've got all this shit, all this weird shit at school, trying to teach them fucking however many genders and like fucking drag queens coming into the school, like trying to tell people it's a good job to have and all that sort of shit. They're trying to tell kids, they've got careers advisors telling kids already that for girls that prostitution's are gratifying and like a good job for your soul and all this sort of shit, bro. Like when do people think fuck this, mate? Like this is, you see what I'm saying? Like, it's got to be. I'm not on about the football boys. I'm on about normal people thinking this is degeneracy. This is not what England's about. Like this is never what England's been about. This is what Germany before the war was about. This is what Weimar was about. Like this ain't fucking on. Do you see what I'm saying? When's that gonna happen, man?
I don't know, man. I don't want to be a doom merchant, mate. But I think they've had 2 years. They're going on 3 years now of lies.
No, but this is different. This is different. This is no. This is a different thing entirely. I will accept that people can be hoodwinked into this sort of scaremongering thing where the government have said to them, boom, you got to do this, inject the kids, this, that, and the other, whatever. I know it's still fucked, yeah. People shouldn't ever swallow that sort of shit, yeah. But I can understand, like, a certain degree why people would do that. This is another thing entirely, mate. This is trying to fucking groom children now on a like, different thing. Like, surely that's different. Do you not think that's different? Then if people have been told a lie, and then for whatever reason they've believed it, so that it is what it is. They've accepted the lie. But this is not being told a lie. This is being fucking. You see what I'm saying? This is a different thing.
Yeah, but it's a moral shift because they see drag queen story, RuPaul story, drag queen, or whatever they call it, drag race, and all the adverts with geezers wearing fucking stilettos and dancing like birds and blah blah. Normalized Philip Schofield. It goes on and on and on. It's normalized to the extent where this geezer in Brighton, my pal, he didn't even reply to it because it's only a drag queen, and you know, it's just not seen as that deviant anymore, is it? That's why they're not protesting. You had a handful of people at the protest that we all attended, and Danny's thing ain't gone fucking through.
But I'm saying not everyone fucking knows about it, brother. I'm saying not every. Like,
there's people I met at the corner yesterday. I met a geezer at the corner yesterday, and he's a subscriber. He knows your work. He's, oh, Jim's brilliant, blah blah blah. He didn't even know about the drag queen thing. So he ain't been watching recently.
This is what I'm saying. So if someone that says that, and then they don't even know, do you know what I mean? It's well possible. Like, I think there'd be fucking moral outrage and an uproar, mate, if everyone knew what was going on. Surely.
And the true agenda that's really coming behind it. Sorry, go on now.
Yeah, talking about the way it's being interjected as well. They're using the guise of literacy to children. Yeah, it's like they're saying, well, we're educating the children. It's
inclusivity.
And it's not.
It's inclusivity. That's what it's under the guise of inclusivity.
But also, I mean, if you look at what's happening in the United States, they're using the literacy as an angle as to why drag queens are in libraries and public libraries and schools. And it's only a matter of time before they use that sort of terminology here. But we can clearly see, as we were present, that there was nothing literacy about it. If anything, there was made up language within the stories, you know, llama, glamorama. Well, what the hell does Glamorama mean? That's just a made up word to put the word glamour with drama. So we can see it's nothing about literacy. It's bringing in news speak
and gender ideology out, confusing the kids with gender ideology.
Yes, because
I've said all along, you put this.
It was basically a coming out story.
It was.
But Al, if you put the gender unicorn in front of children, especially the age they're doing it, you're going to confuse them. You're going to psychologically harm them. They're going to believe that they have to be one of these genders and then follow this and follow that. And then you've got the state.
Not even necessarily going to believe that they have to be. They're just going to believe that there's an opportunity for them if they so wish, which is still fucking wrong.
Yeah,
mate.
But they'll feel when they've got the peer pressure into it, then they feel they'll have to choose one. It's not normal just being a boy or a girl because all my friends are this and they've chosen this, and it's going to confuse them. It's more than confuse them. It's going to psychologically fucking harm them, mate.
100%.
Simple as that.
100%.
That's the main one that's got me from 3 years ago. The sexualization and this gender ideology stuff. And that's why they've closed down the Tavistock Institute, because they know it's messing kids up. It is a mental delusion, and you do the watchful waiting. You see what happens with the kid, even an adult. That's why 85 to 90% of the gender dysphoria desists. There'd be no desistance if it wasn't a mental disorder, would there? There wouldn't. You choose your gender off the spectrum, and that's what you are for the rest of your life, or whatever.
Here. It's true,
There'd be
mate.
no desistance at all, no detransition at all. And in my old paperwork from 2019, I believe it was November, up in Blackburn or Scunthorpe, Google it. It was the first detransition conference in the UK. You won't hear that on the mainstream. A conference for detransitioners. That's exactly what they don't want, because it just blows their theory, their ideology right out of the water. And it proves that it is a mental disorder that desists with time, with therapy, not fucking mutilating the body and giving hormone blockers. It's very simple.
Very simple.
But because it's put under this rainbow banner and equality and diversity and love is love and be who you want to be, the dum-dums don't want to flipping stand up and just look at the truth and go, no, it's abhorrent, it's disgusting, it's not right, it's going to harm kids. We know that. Anyone with half a brain in it knows that.
That's the thing, mate. That's what I'm saying. Where's all the normal bods with the outrage? Where's the fucking outrage, man?
It's been normalised. They watch RuPaul Drag Queen and they watch this.
No, they don't. They don't. They're fucking. She watches that, mate. They sit there fucking doing something else. The normal bods, bro. You don't sit there watching fucking RuPaul, do you? Or whatever the fuck. Like, no,
I'm saying in a sense it's been normal because it's on the mainstream. You may not watch it and agree with it and want to, even go and watch it in the live.
They have an advert of it saying later on today. Yeah.
Yes, because look, you know what they're like with the telly.
The
telly says it's normal, and that's it. The telly says it's fine, then it's fine. Then you get a few MPs bringing their kids to it, then it's rubble stamped. Then that's it. It's got to be okay because the telly says it, and the MPs are bringing their kids. It must be all right.
Well,
and if you go against it, you're a fucking homophobe or a Nazi or whatever. We was being insulted when we was there protesting about it and other people.
But this is the thing, right? Like, I got the a couple of years ago, so I got a camera. Yeah, I'm just waiting for everyone else. Like, when's everyone else gonna start fucking doing stuff? Like, do you know what I mean? We need to start fucking doing stuff on mass, mate.
Well, you go to the corner gym like I was yesterday.
Yeah, this is what I mean. No one's fucking organised. No one's organised, mate. There's all people down there trying to like fucking shield psyops and that, mate. It's all MI5 agents all working down there, bro. Fuck that place, man.
I'd just like to remind you both that about 10 years ago, there was mothers against a particular toy that was being sold in Hamleys and Disney shops. And what it was a pole dancing thing for girls to play around with. Now, there was enough stink about that they had to get that disgusting toy to teach girls how to pole dance off the shelves. And the thing is that we need to find that group and get them on board with us here. So we need to re-engage with all these groups who have been objecting to the sexualization through the toy companies.
Well, I'm saying
that's a group we need to
sorry, Aaron,
put out an offer to sort of be a part to having this.
Where's the thing? Oh, I just want to share this. You was talking about what's it?
Yeah, go on, continue.
You was talking about fucking age appropriate shit and that, and I'm just saying because it's not exactly the same as about pole dancing shit, but this is an Amazon, right? This is flipping. Look at that child there. Look at the size of that child there. Look at is it just me or does that look like it's a child-friendly toy, or does that look like something that's going to give them fucking nightmares? In all honesty, like, is that am I being hypersensitive again, or is it? It's just it's everywhere, isn't it? It's like they're trying to remove children's ability to be children. They just want to fucking scare them and mutilate them and fucking. Do you know what I mean? Just sex them, scare them, and mutilate them, mate. That's basically what they're.
I can't see the image.
No, I make them grow up before their time, so then they can lower the age of consent. That's why you got this. What's her name? The one who always fucking with a miserable face. What's her face? The autistic one.
What one?
Funberg,
Oh,
whatever her name is.
Oh yeah, that
That's
kind.
like
Yeah.
Monster
Yeah,
Launch.
get kids out there, empower the kids, and it's all the old
Yeah,
people.
that's what
this and-
that's what it's all about. The liberation of the children, isn't it?
Yes.
This is what I'm saying. That's Paulo Ferreri, whatever. That's
Yeah,
this is
but,
what I'm saying.
Um,
Shit here, it's the same shit, mate.
about that particular political child. Now, she's supposed to be a certain age, we're told, but she's really dressing much younger than she appears to be. And not only is she dressing much younger than she appears to be, she's also dressing in a very fuddy-duddy way. There's something, I don't think that she's the age that they're saying she is. And I think that she's much older, and she's been conditioned to play the role of a plain Jane. But I think she's not, probably, I think in all honesty, she may be something that's like 22, 23. But she's having to play the role saying that she's under 15 and
No,
look
I
like
think she is supposed to be
I mean,
about 20
whatever
now.
school-
Hang on. She's
Well, then why is she looking like a 12-year-old girl who wants to
I think
save the
she's supposed to be
planet
like
and giving it
19
all
or
this? I
something.
think there's definitely some costume.
2003.
Yeah, but she's not even dressing
19.
her own. She's not even dressing her own age.
Well, I mean,
She's not dressing her own age. I mean, her peers don't look like her of that age. So there's something going on there. She's definitely in a costume. It's a costume she's got, and even the way her hair is and everything about her, it's like, why is she trying to be much younger than she actually is? And
well, we know
and
why,
what
because they're
and
trying to empower
whatever
the children.
whatever her social framework. Yeah, but her social peers of her age, girls her age, right? If she had any friends, they would be saying, well, look, you don't have to do your hair like that. And, you know, why don't you do this? And why don't you do that? So I think she's definitely in a role play to look as plain Jane as possible.
I'm
and
saying it's a
almost
boy,
sort of,
no?
Yeah, I think there's some marketing going on.
Is that on my own? I don't know. She's got a big forehead.
I can't stand. I look at her, I think, you little shit. Oh, she's one of them kids. She's one of them kids that puts you off kids, like my niece. Puts you off kids, mate. I'll tell the fucking world, mate. Fuck them.
Oh,
know what I mean?
you're
Kids
so
like that.
funny, George.
Take her face off the screen, please. I've had enough of it. I'm sure the viewers will agree. Oh, thank you. Oh. No, but that's her. That's it. That's part of it. Look. Oh, this is disgusting.
That's the state of people, mate. Political activists touching reading stories to your children. That's the crack, boys. It's crazy, bro. Queer activists and that all in there reading shit. Like, it's mad. Aaron, that's definitely you as well that's got that in the background now.
That's got what in the background?
You got the YouTube open in the background. Surely it must be you only. Could possibly be you.
No, I don't have a speaker. I'm speaking directly to the screen because I can't find my headphones. They're boxed up somewhere.
Yeah, but have you got the Streamyard tab open and the stream on the browser?
I'll have a look.
Oh, I'll be back in 2 minutes.
Just Streamyard.
2 minutes.
All right, George. What, you just got the Streamyard one open now?
Yes.
Curious. All right, fuck knows then. Fuck knows. Don't worry about it. Let me share this one.
What I mentioned earlier on, I mean, the thing about peer pressure and the thing about normalization is that if you say you don't like it, people from unexpected quarters even will come upon you like a ton of bricks. It's like there's a deliberate there's a deliberate plan for you to go along with the program, and if you don't, you're this, you're transphobic, you're homophobic, you're anti-Semitic, you're this and that. Any title to shut you up and say, you know, and to say that you are wrong, when all you're trying to do is show the moral high ground and say, no, we're supposed to protect children, and this can have long-term effects on their psychological behavior, being exposed to this kind of thing. I mean, why do you think flashers expose themselves? Because they get a cheap thrill about it. So when you have drag queens wanting to perform in front of children, then the same mindset like a flasher has to be there, because it's about getting instant gratification from knowing that you're corrupting the mindset of innocent children. And when you say this, you just get a barrage of abuse from people saying you shouldn't think like that, you're the wrong. It's like, no, I'm trying to say that children are very easily influenced, let alone, I mean, a child can change its cereal after just watching one advert of Frosties, and suddenly, oh, Mum, can you buy Frosties tomorrow? Can we change our cereal? You know, so that's the power of television. And to think that a child was actually going and seeing a live performance of this drag queen dressed to the nines and doing a performance and speaking in a, telling a story which is going over their head to some degree, but other points, the fact that they're being read to. Why can't we have plumbers do a reading hour? Why can't we have bricklayers doing a reading hour? Why does it have to be drag queens? Why are they being paid by councils to give talks in libraries? Why them? Why not lawyers, bricklayers, judges, whatever? In the old days, it used to be the librarian herself or himself who would read a story to children.
Because they've got an agenda, haven't they? They're trying to normalise queer ideology for children.
Well, it's worked because we are the ones being put in the poor light for objecting to it.
Yeah, no, but that's only because we've got a media and we've got a tabloid fucking industry that is owned and paid for by the same interests that are looking to implement all this degeneracy. That's why. It's not we're getting put. It's not because we are in a bad light. It's because they're doing, the same people that are trying to implement it own all that shit, mate. Basically. George has unmuted himself.
Yeah, I'm here. I'm back.
That's handy timing because Aaron's just muted himself, mate. And I was feeling all lonely.
Well, how far did you move forward then?
No, I still can't get my head around it, mate, to be honest with you.
Well, I was researching it 3 years ago, Jim, when it was the Yoga Carter principles and blah, blah, blah. And Colin and I done that thing. And, when there was that drag queen story hour. Then with the next phase here in the UK will be the drag kids. You got amazing Desmond from years ago. He's most probably flipping.
Don't. It's fucking
they ain't far off. They'll be on this morning with fucking nonce. What's his face?
Yeah,
and Willa Boobeh all normalising it.
It's mental.
I told you I'm waiting for. You're going to have a nonce on there with a kid normalising him and Willa Boobeh. I can picture it. Talking about their relationship and age gap love and all that shit.
But this is the thing. Where's the outrage about him texting a fucking 14-year-old boy whilst being married?
Well, that's why I was hushed up, innit? They hushed it all up. That's why they had to get him out.
Did they hush it up? Well, I thought it was common knowledge. Is it not common knowledge then?
Well, it was hushed up in the sense of he's gay. He has a cry. Willa Boobeh hugs him. It's all on the mainstream. All the housewives that watch it thinks how brave he is for coming out. Bang.
Oh, fuck.
The kid that the alleged allegate, whatever, blah, 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 might have happened. he's told, look, shut your mouth. He's who he is. You ain't going to do nothing about it. Shut up, or this is going to happen. You won't, blah, blah, blah. They frightened him from going any further. You see the pictures with him when he's a kid. Then you see the pictures with him when he's having a shisha with him down wherever it is in London. And blah, blah, blah.
Oh, if he's having a shisha, it's got to be Edgware Road, isn't it?
Yeah, more than likely. But the point is, you see the timeline of their relationship, of their friendship, and then it, you know, grooming. That's what it's called. You know, it's called grooming, mate.
Yeah, I've got a dictionary, bruv. I had to buy one just to be sure because I had leftists keep telling me I was wrong about words and that. So I bought a fucking dictionary just to make sure. Fucking idiots. I'll show them fucking leftists. Right, well, yeah. I think that's about it. Basically, I come on to rant. I was come on to rant about fucking disproportionate representation of fucking BAME people in the cabinet and that. We ain't even had a look at a photo of it. Yeah. I couldn't even get a good photo of it. That's why I don't think. It's mental though. I just can't get my fucking nut around it. And then I see her, old Abbott, and she don't hang around with white people. I'm thinking, what's actually going on here? We've got some sort of.
She was meant to go out with Corbyn years ago.
Oh, that was right. Yeah, I heard about that. I did hear about that. That make you feel sick, doesn't it?
Oh God, no, no.
Ugh.
So that means I bet she knows flipping Piers. You know, they all must know who he is and blah blah blah.
Of course. Right. Well, it's. Oh, I don't know. Fuck knows.
Told you the GDMPs have got off too lightly, Jim. That's what I'm so passionate about. They've got way too lightly.
I'm sure there's a story in this somewhere. If I actually done the fucking work, yeah, and I went found out the actual percentages of the demographic, how many people there are, in what sort of ethnicities and the rest of it they are, and then how many of them are actually in government, mate. I'm saying it's fucking mind-blowingly disproportionate, mate.
Yeah, it is very. Now it's disproportionate the other way.
Yeah, it's like it's over-representation on a mass scale. It's crazy.
But the main point is they're still lying pieces of shit like the rest of them, whether they're white, black, whatever.
Oh yeah, no, for sure, 100%, 100%.
And the BAME ones are even worse in my world.
Well,
you go on about marginalised and oppressed and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And you're meant to know what's going on.
And they sit there drinking the champagne with the rest of them and that.
Exactly, taking a fucking dollar.
Yeah, no, they're the worst kind. They're the worst type, mate. This is what I mean.
They're like political traitors, you know, those pretending to be Labour, but they actually live a very conservative, wealthy kind of lifestyle. But they're making out they know the price of a pack of butter in the shop. They know what it's like, go shopping in a local store when they have it all done for them. So those masquerading as working class. And I think we should take a look at our mayor of London, because he makes a big song and dance about growing up in a sink estate, a council sink estate, and having difficulties growing up. But the moment he's in a bit of power, I mean, he sort of almost removed himself from that circle. He lives a very rarefied life, and I doubt he even meets the old people of his neighbourhood where he grew up in. So again, it's like you've got Diane Abbott, who makes a point of talking about comprehensive education and this and that and the other, while she sends her own children to a private school. Now, how dare she say about that in public education when she has no insight into public education, because she decided to, which is her choice, obviously, to send her children to public school. And all the Labour representatives, they don't send their kids to regular schools. They get the rarefied education, the one that teaches them to be a crafty, critical thinker and this, that, and the other. So there's one thing I can't stand. It's those who are pretending to be a Labour person. I mean, we had a Prime Minister who said he was Labour. Nothing about him was Labour at all. You know, so that to me is what do you call it, class traitors, and they all are, because they get in there, they suddenly get a nice salary, and they get other things on the side by being bribed, or they call it.
I don't think it's class traitor. I think it's, sorry to interrupt, but I think it's like a fucking. At this stage in the game, what the sort of stuff they're up to, mate, I think that's a soul traitor, mate. I think they're selling their soul. I think that's the traitor.
Yeah, they're selling out humanity. That's right, Jim. Like, I told her that as well. When I was leaving, ashamed in, I said, you're a sellout like the rest of them, mate. You think you get a get out of jail free card because you're black or something? No, mate, you're a scumbag and you've sold out of humanity like the rest of them.
Amen.
Fuck off. Like I said, out of all the paperwork I got, that picture of Parliament for that debate, whenever it was in March, 6 months ago, is disgusting. Infuriates me fucking greatly. As you can see my face when I see that flipping piece of shit. It's like any of them. And they've got the cheek to run about like they care about their constituents, like they care about the future of humanity. Fuck off out of it. Fuck off out of it.
Scumbags, mate. This is what I mean.
Yes. Give them due. The 4 MPs did turn up. I can remember the names. Danny Cougar, Alicia Kearns, Chope, who brought it, and the Irish guy, Jim Shannon. 4 MPs for that debate. 4 MPs. And you don't include Maria Caulfield, because she's the Undersecretary for Health or whatever it is. Fucking pissed off with that, mate. And you think we're paying your wages and you've got the cheek and blah, blah, blah. All right, we'll see.
It's not just that, though. It's anything that they don't want to talk about. They don't bother talking about. It's mental. This system's no good, mate. It don't fucking work. Like crazy shit. For instance, just one thing that you can quickly think of to hand is, for instance, they just injected people with experimental shit, like across the globe and that, on a mass scale, trying to fucking do crazy shit. And no one's being held to account. It doesn't look like anyone's going to be held to account. It's just this shit's got to, when the people going to be like, no, well, this don't make no sense no more. I'm not fucking taking part in this. Like, we need to do something about this. Like, these people need fucking locking away in dungeons and shit, man. They've done some crazy shit. Like this cunt Bill Gates just flies around the planet, bruv, saying crazy shit to people, like whispering crazy shit to crazy people, bruv. And then the next thing you know, the sky, you can't see the fucking sun at 12 o'clock in the afternoon and that, bruv. Like, something's got to give. Like, this crazy shit can't carry on going on, can it? Like, what on earth is going on? This cunt is flying around the planet, whispering in people's ears, and then you can't see the sun, mate. That's basically the long and short of it. That's where we're at in 2022.
Not only that, he comes and visits countries and their prime ministers. During COVID, he came to visit Boris Johnson. He came, and then he went and had evening meal with the Queen, and then he flew back to America. Now, he didn't have to spend 10 days in isolation because of COVID and this and that. He didn't have to get vaxxed to come over here, but he's the one implementing all of that. Not only that, he's telling everyone else to refrain from eating meat. This is a billionaire who can eat the best meals in the world. I know I've told this to you guys, but it's for the other people listening. He can eat the best, most purest food in the world. And yet, look at him. He's always had dandruff, and he's always been a sweaty Betty. He looks as unfit as anything, and he has the audacity to tell the world what we should be eating, and that we should be eating his Impossible burgers, or whatever they're called, plant life meat. Well, people are saying that they're a bit more than plant life involved in there. But the point is, he wants us to eat his Frankenburgers and bug food. And how dare he, because he's a billionaire, well, he's done it already, but a billionaire is able to tell billions what to do. I mean, he's got no qualification. He's not a scientist, but anyone who didn't realize who he was would say, oh, he must be a doctor. He must be a this. He must be a that. He's none of that. Yet he's telling the world what to do. And he made it very vocal, saying about he wants 7 billion people to be injected. And he makes his Kermit the Frog arm movements. Yeah, the Muppet Show. He's a real joke. But the world's listening to him. So he's clearly someone who's an operative of the deep state. And what would be interesting is to know why his wife, if it is his wife, why she decided to divorce him, and why aren't those
we
why
know
aren't
why
the
she
reasons for the divorce?
It's gonna come out about the fucking
Yeah, but it's
Epstein
again,
Island shit.
it's not. Yeah, but again, it's not public knowledge, and a lot of we have to realize that a lot of the people we want to wake up, they are in a dream world. They don't see things the way we do because their minds or their pineal gland is calcified and they can't actually think clearly or critically think and see things. Why would you listen, if you was going to go to a gymnasium and get fit, why would you have a big bellied unfit guy telling you how to lift weights, and you're thinking, hold on a minute, why should you be my coach? Because you look as unfit as me. I'm not going to learn nothing from you. It's a bit like when you go to the doctor's surgeon and they say, oh, would you like to see the dietitian? You say, well, yes, that might be helpful. And in comes out this great big nurse, fatter than yourself, and you're thinking, well, if she don't take her own advice, why on earth am I going to listen to her? She's as big as me. What kind of nurse and what kind of person will listen to someone who looks unfit and unwell? You're not going to take medical advice. And yet Bill Gates, with his dandruff and his little big massive belly and his this, that, and the other, he has the audacity to tell the world what we should be eating. And he's buying all the farms as well. He's buying all the farmland he can with his billions.
Sorry to interrupt, Al. I don't know if you've seen the interview, or if the viewers have seen it, where he's having a discussion with an interviewer, and they're saying, "Oh, Mr. Gates, you've lost so much billions in your recent business venture, whatever it was." And his retort is, his comeback is, "Oh, it doesn't matter. I'll make it back out of synthetic meat." They know he's got the synthetic meat wrapped up, the insects, the farmland, so nullifies your competition. You won't have the competition because you've bought up the land so they can't produce. Yeah, they know exactly what they're doing. Burning down all the food processing plants.
Well, I can remember watching a report from Amazing Polly, where she showed you that there was the Impossible Plant Burger, the manufacturers on an industrial estate, and directly opposite across the road was Planned Parenthood. And the question was raised, why would Planned Parenthood, who deal with abortions, why would they have a complex on an industrial estate right opposite a place that supposedly makes artificial meat?
Mate, that makes you feel sick. Don't even talk about that. That's fucking disgusting.
But the point, well, I mean, it's there. I don't know if you can still see that particular video. I mean, she had pictures and evidence. She used simply Google
That's going
Maps
down the
to show you
Finkelstein route.
Well, I ain't far off it.
Well, we have to look at the fact that they want to corrupt mankind inside and out. And what possible way than to think that we're having human flesh introduced into the food chain? Because it happens all the time.
They've been doing the fetal fucking tissue for food flavorings for a long time, haven't they?
No, but the next level, I've seen an article the other. Sorry to interrupt. Some of the viewers might have seen it, where there's celebrities in America saying you can have our synthetic meat. Our DNA's been taken. You can eat our meat. So it's normalizing cannibalism, which is another word for Satanism, basically eating flesh. It's out there. I can't remember. I see someone must have seen it.
Yes, yes. I do recall. I think you showed it to me a few months ago. And what it was people like Kardashians and that saying, "Well, my DNA is in this, and hence, if you buy this product, you're having a part of me, and I'm a celebrity." And they were using that sort of, which yeah, revolting. But
Yeah, but it's to
what we have to
normalise
consider,
eating meat, eating humans.
cannabis. Yeah,
Yes,
yeah,
cannibalism,
and
Satanism.
yes, and the thing is, if you think about that
Tackling
1972 film Soylent Green, that was set in 2021, I believe, and that in the end was, the end line of that film. You've got Charlton Heston being put on a stretcher because he's just discovered that we've been eating. That's the one.
Is this the one?
That's the
Yeah.
one.
I'm good at it,
That's
you
the
know.
amazing Polly thing she shows you. I believe so. Yeah, yeah. Oh, well done, Jim.
So basically, should we put the sound on it?
kind of thing. Brought to mind Pepsi. You know, the company Pepsi has been caught using aborted fetus tissue
This is what I'm saying. We knew about this.
to experiment with flavor enhancing. You can look up the articles. I didn't get one. They're out there. And people were thinking,
She's just rambling on.
maybe
like
that's
a
what's in
fucking
this
nutter, though.
burger. Maybe that's where the
Where's-
stem cells come from. Now remember, Impossible Foods says it
No,
does not
this
use
is it.
stem
Look at that
cells.
burger bit,
Okay?
Yeah.
Absolutely not. However, what are the chances of this? What is Planned Parenthood doing in the middle of an industrial park? Because that's what that is. If you go and Google that address yourself, it's a total industrial park. So there's a Planned Parenthood right across the street, and I felt so sick. Clearly, this is not evidence of anything, any connection whatsoever. But I couldn't keep researching. First of all, I don't want to find it. I'm just going to be honest with you. I don't want to find it. And I don't want to get sued. And I don't want to get anything.
What's she on about?
Bleeding burgers.
What she's on about is, yeah. That's
She
it.
don't want to find it. Is she want to find it or not? Is she looking for it or not? Is she winding me up? Does she
No,
know where it is?
No, the point is she does. I mean, she doesn't come up with conclusive evidence, but the fact that there's an abortion clinic opposite an Impossible Burger clinic, and they're in the same, they're like within a stone's throw of each other. And
Are
what
they?
the
Does she
chances- but the
actually?
point
Does she
is-
actually
Yes,
do that though?
this
This
is-
is what I'm saying. All right.
She shows it in this entire video. Yeah, yeah.
Right. Okay. Well, we'll take her word for it then, because I couldn't actually see what was going on. Pretty blurry at 480p.
And it's moving very stiltedly too. But and the thing is, why does Planned Parenthood have a factory on an industrial estate? I mean, when you think about women are supposed to go there for planning their future, that's the guise of it. And yet, why do they need to have a head office where food is manufactured directly opposite? It's just sinister, and like Polly said, she didn't want to go there. It's a really dark area to look at, but her feelings, if I recall correctly, were that there is a connection. Someone whistling.
Listening, yeah, go on.
Yeah, listen, yeah.
No, it's someone whistling.
Oh, I
Any
thought you
whistling
said
noise?
that. Nah, that's the machine. That's the computer.
Okay.
Can you hear it?
Yeah.
It's right now. Anyway.
Oh,
right.
someone in the comments has said, who would eat horse? And I just wanted to say that,
The
well,
French.
during times of war, people have eaten horses, even here. And if you remember, about 10 years ago, the British abattoir people in Parliament, the ones who were supposed to monitor the abattoirs of Britain, they discovered that half of the pies in Iceland and all those places were horse meat. And the fact that horses get a lot of injections and jabs and stuff, but it got into the food chain. And then you had Princess Anne come on and say, with a horsey face, "Oh, there's nothing wrong in eating horse. It's quite good for you." So I found that. So it's not the first time that things that shouldn't get into the human food consumption have.
I remember that, Aaron. I remember that.
Mm.
They was
And
found
the
in
other point is
lasagna and all that and everything.
Yep, a whole lot. And of course, those food ministers who should have been monitoring these abattoirs across the country, nothing happened to them. They didn't get sacked, but they've been not bothering to visit these abattoirs to see what's in our food. And they hadn't been doing their job for 20 years, and they still remained there. They're probably still there now. So it goes to show you have a minister for food and a minister for this, and they don't do what they're expected to do. They're supposed to have, they're supposed to be stringent inspections of these places to make sure that the human food isn't being contaminated.
They'd be bought like the pharmaceutical industry out. They'd be paid off like the pharmaceutical industry, the construction industry, and we know what organisations are behind it pulling the strings as well.
Just to reiterate to my earlier point, that they are actually putting raw sewage into the sea at Southend, mate. That's what I mean. Like, it's on all scales. We're being attacked at every angle, boys. That's the thing.
Yeah, it's been going on for a long time, but I want to say there's something in the British psyche. It's almost as like the passion and the fight for right has been banged out of a lot of people. It's not there. You can't motivate. You can't jimmy up people to get angry enough to say, no, stop, this is enough. There's something wrong. It's almost as if we've all been given I can hear that. Oh. It's almost as though we've all been given something in our tea that has made us docile and not angry about what's happening. The fact that we have a health minister who is doing the opposite regarding health and allowing fluoride in the water and all sorts of other things in the water. So the very ministers and the very boards and institutions that are supposed to do something for something, in actuality, they're doing the opposite. They're poisoning us. The Minister of Food or Food and Agriculture, which used to be Margaret Hodge, I don't know if I think she's retired. But the point is, all these people in those positions, it's the opposite what they're doing. And it sort of does indicate to me that it definitely feels like a sign of the times, and they're not good. But the only opportunity we have is to wake up and get angry. And maybe people recognizing that suddenly there's all these ambulances around without their sirens on, going and collecting bodies. I mean, has anyone talked about that? There's a lot of ambulance activity.
Sorry, Aaron, I've got to interrupt. I just want to make very clear, although that Aaron is calling for people to get angry, we're not actually calling for violence. We just want the emotion of anger without any violence at this stage.
In fact, I would say we need righteous indignation, which is the healthy kind of annoyance and anger righteous indignation about what's really happening and why our taxes are being abused and used for not the purpose they're meant to go towards. So righteous indignation. Where is why is Britain a nation of, why is Britain so apathetic? There's not enough fire in the belly to say, look, this needs to stop. Why can't we have this? And why can't we sack our ministers when they don't do a job? When they start going on all these jollies to certain parts of the world, like a little free holiday for them on a private jet. And yet, no, they're supposed to be working for the water board or the this or that.
I'll give you a good one. I'll give you a bad one. Sorry to interrupt, Al. Matt Hancock, when he was health minister, even before this hoax pandemic bullshit, he had a letter from David Noakes and Linda Fire offering the National Health Service free or at cost GC math, which they were curing cancer with and many other diseases. And wherever it was, what's one of these islands? One of the islands off Great Britain.
Guernsey, Jersey, something.
Yeah.
Like that.
And then what happened is they got raided. The clinics got raided. They got closed down. They got banged up, nutted off. I'm sure Linda Fire's still in France now, nutted off, and people ain't even heard of them. And they literally saying they've had the cure. They were curing people for cancer, stage 4, fact. Whether people want to believe it or not, it's the truth. They were going to their clinic and they were getting cured for cancer, colitis, everything. Because all this GC math is just your body's deficient in it, and they just replace your body with a GC math, basically. Simple as that. And they offered it at cost to the National Health. And what they do, they got them banged up. Fact. David Noakes, Linda Fire, they're heroes, mate.
That fucking, this is what I mean. And that media consumer dickhead cuck, he got him, bruv. He got that wonky-eyed cunt Swain, mate, and he didn't say nothing about that. He wanted to ask him.
Swain was their MP. Swain, that's why he's done it.
I know, that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that he got him.
Swain was the one who brought it to Hancock.
Yes,
he's the MP. He's personal. He knows the case of David Noakes and Linda Fire. He was their MP in Bournemouth, wherever he's down that neck of the.
You got a phone call, didn't you?
And your friend Al, I don't want to mention no names. He said he helped at David Noakes when he was in trouble. They was harassing the geezer. They were flipping hounding him. He's got a cure for flipping cancer and other diseases. And was going to give it that cost to the NHS. They don't want that. They don't want you healthy, mate. They don't want cures. Cures ain't no good. They'll bang you up. They'll kill you if you come out with this. Simple. Cunts.
Amen. Well said,
yeah, there's an interesting comment that's just come up about, and it's just highlighted that a lot of our MPs, they end up going to these closed to the public meetings, such as Bilderberg and G7 and all this sort of thing, and yet they don't even report back to us because they're held under secrecy. They don't even. The question is, why are they going to these places and they're not telling us what their future plans are and not informing the public? They shouldn't be allowed, because to me, it's going against their whole oath of office, which is to represent the people. And yet they're always going to Bilderberg.
Sorry.
Yeah, and the question is, why aren't they held under the Treason Act or anything? Because if you see, the thing is, if things aren't being enforced and the police aren't looking the way they ought to, for example, there's no concern regarding children being danced to by men wearing inappropriate dress. You know, so if it's almost like everything's going to hell in a handbag, really. So what do we have to do? Do we have to develop our own enforcement agents to make sure that the laws are being adhered to?
No, on a serious note, we need to fucking get some awareness and some logic and some common sense into the general fucking populace and say, you do understand the police have been politicized. They're not fit for purpose. They're not enforcing the law. Children are getting groomed. We need to fucking recall all fucking training. Like there's some open society fucking common purpose training that's been going on in the last 20 fucking years, and they completely like it needs to be wiped out. There's a process that has gone on in the civil services in these institutes, and that it's completely mind fucked the fucking people that they have had working for them, mate. And they're just fucking droids, man. The whole thing needs, the whole establishment needs fucking proper reforming, mate. All of that police business needs proper reform. Like, it's fucking insane. And then once the police has been reformed, then we can go after the politicians. You know what I mean?
But there's an organisation behind it, Jim.
Yeah,
and they roll their trouser legs up and all that.
Right.
Blah, blah, blah.
Right. So what we do about that, but there needs to be some sort of edict, mate. We need some sort of fucking We need some sort of cunt to say there's no secret societies going on in our land here, mate. You can all fuck off. That's
Well, the
what
government says Jack Straw brought in a law or legislation that judges don't have to disclose if they're a Freemason.
Yeah, I know. That's I know. I remember that. Yeah. Excuse me, please. Yeah, no, it's bad. That's where we're at, mate. We need to get shot of them schneid cunts, mate. That are all pulling strings and shit, mate. Fucking Fabian Cuckens. Nonsense kid fuckers.
Oh, and their little enablers, their little underlings, like down the corner, shouting off their mouth that they're Masons and all that. Little prick. Yeah?
Who was that then?
Some little prick. I ripped him a new arsehole and he had to fuck off. I'll show you him.
Oh, we seen one before, didn't we? Had his little hat on when he's doing his stretches in that other side of the park.
Oh, this one was blatantly, I was arguing with him. He was trying to be clever as usual, and he said, oh, I'm a Mason. He's told me before he's a Mason. I said, I thought to get to a certain degree, you have to be a nonce. And blah, blah, started just fucking getting him, the prick. I'll show you his little mug.
Yeah, well, that's what I mean. There's a lot of weird shit on TikTok as well. You see a lot of these cunts talking about being Masons on TikTok. It's a very weird. This is what I mean. It's proper biblical, mate. It's proper end times business, man. I can't believe there ain't more people up in arms, mate. Though, to be honest with you.
Well, there ain't. You go down the corner and they're just flipping, arguing and shouting over religion again.
That's what I mean.
And the only one you got down there, sort of, who's got our corner, he's got about 3 people around him. And one of them ain't wearing shoes. One looks like he should be in a fucking mental institution. The other one's just fucking there. He ain't got nothing better to do. That's why this movement ain't moved. You should have had Kate Shimarani, Dr. Whistleblowers, more of Kaufman, blah, 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 from the beginning. They knew that. That's why they frightened her off. They've silenced all the other doctors. That's the only way it's going to get any traction. People listen in the mainstream, that like middle class or even the working class who are fucking, stuck with their head up their ass. Doctors, that's the only thing. Not Corbyn, not fucking no one else. Them. That's the only thing that's going to get through to them now. Doctors blowing the whistle. And even that's happened. And they get them off Twitter. They put them off this. They censor them here.
Yeah, what's everyone think it is?
Mm.
I've got... Where's this video? This video here. Alright. Let me get rid of this one. How'd you do it? Why am I being retarded? Why is it? What the fuck? I'm being retarded, boys. Right. No, it's still yeah, this one. This one. Alright, who knows about this? Who can speak German? Are we all doomed? Is the football gonna be a bad day? The football lads is gonna be a bad day.
DJ.
Look.
I agree. It is 666. You're right. Great comment. So,
we missed it.
One thing I want.
What's that?
This is that thing that I was telling you about. Hold on.
Oh, I think you sent him a thing, but I couldn't do the translation.
Yeah, that's the one. This is the one. It's the one we need translating.
Herren, liebe Kolleginnen und Kollegen, dieser 24. September 2022.
Right there, he said September.
192174335.
He said September right there.
It says September.
And other people said the same thing. He said September 2022.
Liebe Kolleginnen und Kollegen, dieser 24. September 2022 wird uns allen als ein Tag im Gedächtnis bleiben, von dem wir später einmal sagen werden.
Thank you, Farah. Farah also gave me this. God's roadmap to the end, I guess, had this out too. This is what he said. Dear colleagues, the 24th of September, 2022 will be a day remembered by all of us as a day which will say, I remember exactly where I was. It's exactly the same thing that happened at 9/11. This is exactly what happened at 9/11. 9/11, I remember exactly where I was at 9/11. I was at work.
Right. Yeah, so basically, what do you make of that then? Do you reckon he's just being a cranky American, or do you reckon there's some stuff behind it all?
Aaron?
Well, it's very obscure. We're not quite sure. He's just saying that something catastrophic will be in the memory of society. There's no indication as to what it could be, but given that if it's going to affect everyone, it's going to be of a 9/11 type event that's going to be heavily broadcast or seen or whatever. Who knows what it is? But again, you know, it's another deliberate crisis thing that will affect the psyche of all human beings, and will probably bring in some more laws and legislation and Patriot Act type rules. So, but having said that, you know, when people put dates up, and if it gets too much publicity, they'll just change the date to another thing. So
yeah, that's interesting. What's that? What Greg said. Look, what's the Mitha cycle then?
Looking it up now. Every cycle which would culminate as a sabbatical year, too known as mate, it's Sabbath. It's Yiddish. It's a Yiddish term, from what I can gather.
Oh,
Shabbat.
Hey, connecting some dots again. Cheers, Greg. Hey, I love a bit of co-creative learning. Wicked. Cheers, Greg.
So there you go. So should we carry on reading about it? It's about something to do with the sabbatical cycle, 7-year. The year following the destruction of the Second Holy Temple was the first year of 7-year sabbatical cycle. Well, that's interesting stuff.
Because you know, it's always got to be symbology or certain dates, numerology, symbology. It's always, we all know that. You read all the books and all the dates in core. That's only a couple of weeks away, isn't it? Week and a bit.
See, this is what I was thinking. Look, don't worry about the bit where it's like the first bit. Just watch out for the 24th of September. It will be a day to remember. Everything is about to change. Because it's what we was talking about, George, with the money situation, with his face and everything and that, yeah?
Yeah.
And I've been thinking for some time, like the conspiracy nut that I am, that I've always been worried since I see that fucking film, you know, back in the days when I used to watch films, you know, that Ocean's 11 film where they get the EMP thing, right? And I thought, you remember that, where they set off the EMP and all the electric goes and that fries all the electronics and that. And I thought, fucking hell, mate. Yeah. I thought everything, back then I thought everything's electronical, and if they'd done that, they'd fuck out the whole grid, everything, it'd be fucked. I thought we'd be proper Stone Age stuff, it'd be fucked and that, yeah? And then that's always been in the back of my mind, niggling and that, like, I think it's more probable than a nuke, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But it's one of them things, isn't it? We've got to be ready for, I think, like in this day and age. They're going to be EMP us on the 24th, boys, and then we're going to be on digital currency after that. Do you know, this is what I mean. There's going to be all untold people that have got hundreds of thousands, millions in the bank and that, and they're just going to say, right, that's all gone now, boys.
In China, I'm sure they're stopping people taking their money out. And I heard about a case even in this country, a geezer couldn't take his money out, or they said you have to, you know. No, no, it's happened for a while, but now we're really sort of clamping down on it. I reckon the big one.
But they've all, hang on. But hang on. But has anyone seen the other videos then of what they're about all the terms and conditions for the banks? But the banks. So first of all, the banks are all stopping everyone's overdrafts. By the way, if you have an overdraft and you think you still got one, like get in contact with the banks. They've more than likely stopped it or at least halved it. Yeah. So the overdrafts are coming after, and then it says on the terms and conditions of the bank, it says, if for unforeseen economical circumstances that the bank should need to hold on to your money or make it so that you can only have a certain amount of money available to you, then the bank will do that. Like they've changed, they're proper changing the terms. Like there's, because you do understand, as long as that money's in that bank account, it ain't yours. Like it is theirs. Like by all, as the way that contract works and that's their property. When you give it to them, that's what you're doing. You're giving it to them. Yeah. It's bro. It's what I'm saying, and they're readying people up for it already. Like this terms and conditions shit. But there's gonna, I don't know. I can't see it being this soon though. I can't see them doing the EMP now, and I don't know. It all seems a bit soon. But when is the right time? Who knows?
Like we said the other day, Jim, it's perfect timing with her going, and now all that money's redundant. It's worthless.
Do you know how much? It's? I think it's like 84 pence. Yeah, to a dollar at the minute. Yeah, something like that. It was yesterday. 84 pence or 86 pence to bruv. What does that even mean? What does that even mean? Like it's all getting very fucking peculiar and strange.
Well, the money's the big one. Like we said, with her going, and now all the cash that is in circulation with her face on it is technically worthless. It's going to be worthless. So they have to recall all that. So you have to declare it here or there, whether you like it or not. Then he's going for the great reset.
In all seriousness, I reckon, yeah, these UN cuck fucking soldiers that are coming over in these dinghies and that, loaded up with Charlie and guns and shit, yeah. I reckon these fuckers are gonna get given lists, yeah, from fucking Google and shit, like all the people that have been fucking buying gold and shit like that, and they're just gonna get sent around the gaff and that just to take it all, bro, and fucking do them and that, bro. This is where we're at. Think about it. These people, these big tech fuckers, they know everything about everyone, bro. They know as soon as you go and make any purchases online, anything like that, it's all being documented. These cuckens know fucking everything, bro. And it ain't that far-fetched to think that they've just imported a fucking army. And it ain't that far-fetched to think that they could just get a list printed off of any sort of information on it. Fucking dissidents, like where the money's at, where the gold's at, where the petrol's at, like farmers that have got shit fucking put down in holes and that for years to... Do you know what I mean? They just know where everything is, bro. And they could just send them in. No problem, mate.
Interesting times, mate.
I just don't think it's that far-fetched now with everything that's going on. I don't think it's...
Well, it ain't far-fetched. They've written books on the reset and blah, blah, blah. Every day you see that it's another little bit of the agenda falling into place.
I used to think preppers were mental, bruv, yeah? I used to think them preppers were mental, bruv. They don't look fucking mental no more, bruv. They do not look fucking mental. They look smart. They look very fucking clever, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? These cunts that have been prepping for fucking 15, 20 years and that, they don't look half as fucking crazy no more, mate. Do they? In all seriousness, they look like they're fucking clued up, mate. They look like they've been awake, mate, from early, bruv. You know what I'm saying? Same as these motherfuckers running around. Well, not even motherfuckers, it's the wrong thing to say, but the same as these people running around saying the end is nigh, mate. It's observable, man. This shit is going on. Yeah, but in answer to the question earlier on, what do we do to sort it out? I think first of all we've got to reform the police, mate. I think the police need massive reform. We need to get them doing their job like their oath says, like unfavorable and without fear of persecution or whatever. Like they need to be able to do their job, knowing that they've got the moral high ground, they are righteous in their actions, and they're allowed to do what they're doing. Because it's not like that at the minute.
But they're corrupt to the core, Jim. Like that organisation we said that has infiltrated it from the Metropolitan Police and other police services inception. It has been infiltrated by that organisation, and you can't get to a certain rank unless you're in that organisation. Blah blah blah. That's it.
What I'm saying. Yeah, but until you got some sort of fucking people that are enforcing some sort of ideals.
That's why a certain leader in that throughout in past history got rid of that organisation out of his country for a reason.
Going on about that fucking Austrian painter again, mate. Can't have one conversation, George.
What? You're saying you talk like I'm our friend from up north or something? No, I'm just using that as an example.
Yeah. Well, you know what they say.
No, all jokes aside, that is it's a scourge on humanity, that organisation there, mate. You know?
I think, yeah, but I think it's less. It is the organisation, but they've sold everyone the Marxism and that, ain't they? And I think that in essence, what they are is a bit. They are the Marxists because it's the communist thing, innit? It's they are all that. So if we could just get rid of the whole Marxist ideals and Marxist values and people thinking it's sensible. This is what it is. There's people at the top of society telling these mentally retarded kids that they're reeing for the right cause and shit like this. We need to sort these nonsense out that's spreading Marxism, mate, as well. Basically, this is a big problem.
The thing is, this is a battle on so many fronts.
It's a spiritual battle,
and
really
I
and
think
truly.
we
It's one front. It's spiritual. It's good and bad, right and wrong, evil, good and good. You know what I mean? It's. I'm sorry to interrupt, though. And yeah, go on. You're saying it is many, but I'm saying yeah.
No, I mean it's coming. Yeah, you're right. I was about to add that line that it's a spiritual war, but the point is, on a practical level, we're being bombarded on so many fronts. Society and morals are being attacked. And so many, like I said before, so many institutions are doing the opposite of what they claim to be doing. You know, those that are supposedly charities doing charitable things are actually indulging and doing the very harm to save the children. They're actually doing the harm in terms of, tourist paedophilia. When
That's
they're
what
out
you're
there in
saying
these
earlier
other
on about
nations and
double
things. So,
speak. Right.
I can remember 5 years ago, a particular MP, I can't recall his name at present, but he gave a sentence which was rather interesting. He said, "Who's watching the watchers?" And it was in the middle of his speech to Parliament. And I know that was coded. But what I think he was referring to is like, there's no one in charge of the asylum. And who is regulating anything? Nothing is being regulated because it's almost as if we have a psychopathic leadership out of control, and they're doing anything and everything. And now they're pushing things forward. They're pushing everything forward. It's as though unbeknown to the rest of the population, they have a time period they've got to squeeze us all into. It's as if time is ticking for them, and that's why they have to do one crisis event after another, put us in fear mode, because the moment society is fearful of this happening or that happening, in fear, you make bad decisions and you almost freeze up, like paralyzed with fear, you know? So you can't think clearly and you can't...
Yeah, that's true. That's a big argument that I'd make against them fucking lefties and that. All right.
You say fear. I met a lady outside the hospital the other week having a chat with her, and she's taken the V, and she was pretty. The conversation was going down the road of, oh, you're like my what do you call it? My in-law, my son-in-law. He says the same sort of stuff as you, but I took the V, and then I wasn't expecting, and the lady goes, oh, but I regret it now. And I was taken aback. I felt for her, and I said, I'm sorry to hear that, love. I said, why? What makes you have regret taking it, sort of thing? And she said, oh, it was just like you said, it was the fear. She said the government just put so much fear, and I thought, oh, I've got to take it because the virus is so dangerous. And so she was one of the ones that was just led down the garden path watching mainstream media. And there'd be millions like that who have taken it, who regret it, especially the ones that are real. Met another geezer out there with a big lesion on his eyeball, on his above his eye. They said it was shingles, skin eruption. He said this has gone down a bit. And he says in the next sentence, oh, I haven't been in hospital for 30 years. And then I said, you had the vaccine? He goes, yeah, there's your answer, mate. Don't listen to him. 30 years he ain't been in there. Hundreds of thousands, millions. Well, yeah, everyone, I mean, basically, everyone who's taking it. Everyone is going to get ill sooner or later. If they're not ill now. Fact.
And the thing that bothered me is those self-righteous vegans who they go in a supermarket and they'll read the tin can and they read everything, or they read every label and this and that, and they're very like particular about what food goes in them. And yet when it came to the jib jab, they just rolled up this. There's a lot of background noise. Who's doing that, man? Come on, mute yourself if you're going to be doing something like that. Anyway, Jim, like I was saying, there's these vegans, and they're so ardent about what they contain in their body, and yet, you know, they were the first to lift up their arm and not even ask about the ingredients that was going into their arm. And I just thought, how can you try and be so self-righteous in what you put in your body, and yet a major thing that the governments around the world are rolling out, you don't even ask them what's in it? I mean, that how
it's all about
deluded
virtue.
And dumb can they be?
They don't care about being deluded. They just want to make sure they're sending out the right impression.
Well, I was surprised by a few people who have taken it. Well, most people, whoever's taken it, you haven't done your due diligence. Like I said, when we was down the pen the other day, Al, we was there 2 years ago, this time August, whenever it was, for the beginning of the protest, saying vaccines are dangerous, or they're going to be dangerous and not necessary, blah, blah, germ-free, blah, blah. Fast forward 2 years, he's down there with a wall of deaths, basically, they're deceased, with their pictures and the date they've died, like what they've done in other countries. And they haven't done it enough here, I don't think. The victims of it who haven't got out there and but then they get banned on Twitter and banned on other social media platforms and all that. But it was very poignant in my world. I thought, wow, look at that. 2 years later, and there's a wall of all the vaccine, well, all, or just a part of the vaccine deaths. Sad,
I didn't even get that video. I didn't even get that filmed, you know, that wall.
I filmed it on the live, so I went around and filmed it, but I don't know if you saved or whatever.
Yeah, the live ain't up no more. It's the thing. I had to delete it.
Yeah, that got filmed. So he put it up there, give him his due. He's put a wall of the victims, victims. Or some of them, obviously. A very small percentage of them, because there's only a few hundred there, if that. But
he's got the photos of them, though, isn't he? That's the thing. Right?
Yeah, that hits home. Yeah. That hits home, mate. That's real. That is it. That is real. Like I said, on the paperwork, they've recalled peanut butter in 2010 for 9 deaths. 9 deaths, peanut butter.
Yeah, but that's
salmonella or something like that.
That's a different thing. Even if you look at other medical interventions they give people, if it was harming that many people for anything else, they would have recalled it a long time ago, man. Yes.
When I looked on the FDA recall list, go on there and you see how much hand sanitizer gets recalled. I thought, fucking hell. And I said that, remember Al, when we done that talk, and I said that. I said the hand sanitizer is most probably more dangerous than any non-existent virus when it comes to protecting yourself from catching something. Remember? And now look on the FDA
It's
recall
toxic.
list. Recall, go and look at it. It's amazing. Because remember, I think about over 50% or more of drugs that have been approved, so they've gone through the clinical trial process for years and spent billions on it, and they still get recalled after being, you know,
I remember
rolled
that.
out.
You did send me that link. I did go over that. I remember looking at all that. That's fucking wild as well, isn't it?
That's important, mate.
Yeah.
And you think the hundreds of thousands, and it's very, as we all know in the movement, it's underreported. All the vaccine
let me
damage is
find it. I'm
underreported.
trying to smoke a fucking joint. Let me find that out. Let me dig that up quickly because that's actually important stuff.
They recall stuff like easily, mate. Peanut butter, sanitizer. Are you recalling this vaccine?
What was that on? That was on the NIV or something, wasn't it? Not NIV. What's it called? The American one.
FDA recall list, I think. FDA.
This is going to be hard work.
Federal Drug Agency, I think it is.
No, Food and Drug Administration, I think.
Food and Drug.
The recall list. I knew from research, I knew that about 50%, but then I think it's up to about 80%. And remember, all the other drugs that aren't recalled, and I can vouch for this from experience, will give you side effects, standard, foreseen or unforeseen, inevitable or unforeseen side effect. Well, direct induced harm from the drugs, the treatment.
Yeah, I mean, and again, you know, listen to the words that are used. It's side effects, as if to say that, oh, it's just a byproduct, but it's an effect. I mean, if you go into a restaurant and you order a side portion of chips, they're chips. They're still chips. So again, this language about side, it's not. It's effects. We should just drop the word side.
Direct unwanted effect. That's right. Direct unwanted harm, injury, impairment, death included from the treatment, from medical intervention. I like when I go to medical professionals. I had one the other day, having a talk with him, and he goes, I goes, what do you think on iatrogenesis? Didn't even know what it was. Works in a hospital, done years and years on flipping courses, this course, that. Didn't even know what I said, iatrogenesis exactly is the biggest killer within the NHS, causes the most death and injury within the NHS, more than cancer, more than heart disease. Fact. Direct treatment from cause harm, impairment, irritation, death, injury from direct treatment from doctors prescribed drugs. Fact. And they get away with it, like you say, just saying, no, it's inevitable side effects. No.
I think I've got something. See if this is. Oh, for fuck's sake, this is so annoying. Right,
I can vouch for it personally, mate. The treatment was worse than what you suffer with. What they're treating you for.
Right. So, does that mean the yellow ones are the ones? Does that make sense? Look, this is from this FDA drug recall statistics. Is that what I'm sharing? Is that the right thing? Yeah, right. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration has the job of preserving the public health of all U.S. consumers through the regulation of a myriad of potential health risks. This includes human and veterinary drugs, biological products, medical devices, food, cosmetics, and products that emit radiation. While the FDA's mission is to protect consumers, many previously approved items have resulted in recalls, long-term injuries, and lawsuits, calling into question the efficacy of the approval process. Drugs alone have averaged 1,279 recalls per year since 2012. Drugs alone have averaged 1,279 recalls per year. How many do they put on the market per year?
And remember, this is after clinical trials for years. Yeah. This is when they've been approved. They're being recalled after being approved, bruv.
Right, hang on.
Sake.
The continued frequency of FDA recalls has sparked both skepticism and scrutiny from the public. This study will take more granular look at FDA recall process since 2012 up until now. We cover which firms experience the most recalls, blah de blah. Anyway, the point is, if you look at it, it's saying, look, does that terminated means it was recalled, or what does that mean?
Yeah, terminate. Yeah, terminate. That means they've totally it's off the market, not available to
All
patients.
this
I'd
class
say.
business is trying to class it up, mate. Marxist. There have been 12,787 total drug recalls issued by the FDA. On average, class 1 recalls issues, class 2. Why is it different classes? That's annoying. FDA
So that's about 100 drugs a week. 100 drugs a month for getting recalled.
Oh, here we go. We've got definitions here. While a news FDA recalls are reported, some drugs are in different stages of determination, labeled either ongoing, completed, or terminated. Ongoing recalls, a recall that is in the process of taking the necessary safety precautions advised by the FDA. Completed recalls, a recall that reaches the point at which the firm has retrieved and captured all outstanding product that could reasonably be expected to be recovered, or has completed all product corrections advised by the FDA. Terminated recalls, a recall where the FDA has determined that all reasonable efforts have been made to remove or correct the violative product to the best of their ability. Violative. Right, so that don't sound fucking promising either, mate, to be honest with you. All reasonable
No, don't say
have
that.
been
No,
made.
that's remember. Once the drugs have been put out there, someone might have them on their shelf when they've got their script for the month, or whatever, and they don't know it's been recalled and they're still taking it. So that's how they cover their back. But they'll say we've taken it off the market. No more patients can be get administered this drug because it's recalled. But if people have still got it, then we can't really, can't go to thousands and thousands of people and try and find it off their shelves and that. But the main point here is the amount of drugs that are recalled after going through clinical trials. It's no big, it happens all the time. But the point is that it shows how much harm that pharmaceutical drugs do. If they're harming in the clinical trials, then they're harming after a rollout, and they're not treating any flipping illness. That's it.
That's it. Right, listen, I'm absolutely shattered, boys. I'm going to turn the stream off.
Yeah, guys, perfect. I've got school in the morning anyway.
All right.
Where's Al?
He's muted himself. He's back.
I'm here.
Well, thanks
Good night,
for joining
guys.
us. Yeah.
All right.
No worries.
Nice one.
Thank you for everyone who's listened as well. Thank you
For the info as well. Yeah, thanks for the info, everyone.
Thanks for Greg for keeping us in the loop with the old sabbatical cycle as well.
Yeah, nice one. Talk soon.
All right, sweet
Laters.
boys.